Hello everyone, Kirby1 here, and Twin Planes, let's go! As you can see, we are going to have a lot spoiled in the opening messages, but let's go straight into the Battle of Phlegra and the storming thereof. I'm going straight through the gate and trying to brush past these guards. He does have some stuff still in here. It's the mages, pretty much. But they've only got whatever he's got left. A couple of gems, a couple of small elementals, some minor evocations, and we already are set to script. I believe a couple of these guys are on attack rear, just so we can get whoever was in the back there. And then these hurlers are going to be raining bloody death with their boulders upon us. But it is what it is, you just have to plow through. The gate guards are gone, so now everybody's getting in through the back. And we're going to hit the back line right now. A couple of these guys were scripted weirdly. Everybody's dead except for that guy who's asleep, so no worries there. Now everyone else gets chopped up. So the fort is taken, but not without some losses at the very least. One of our Hierophants got sniped, so that's a bit of magic leadership that we have to struggle with. We actually lost almost 100 units, and that's basically going to be from the hurlers, I believe. 30 hurlers raining down a boulder a turn on people. It's a lot of pain. We didn't lose any of our titans though, so what we lost were black minotaurs and Sagittarian carcasses. That's a pain in the butt. We want those guys for later. None of our furies though, so that's good. I believe I had them actually on guard commander so that they wouldn't get themselves into trouble. No, they were stuck in with the carrion titans, so they just got lucky not getting hit with anything. Looks like this guy actually has, yeah, crippled. He should regrow it or recuperate out of it, no worries. So yeah, that is Phlegra dead. And the other funny thing is the arena battle. We go into battle with our twice-born guy. If he wins, he wins. If not, no big deal, because he's twice-born. And so yeah, I don't actually remember what I scripted him for. Probably nothing. Yeah, I guess since he's enraged with the Lycanthrope's amulet, it doesn't matter. But this guy is Oceania's prophet, I think he was. And he has lightning reflexes, so he's quite the hero here. And immediately snipes me dead. I actually wound up hearing afterward from the player in question that he picked up our Lycanthrope's amulet, and so thanks for taking that off of me. But that solves my problem. I didn't have to go suicide him underwater. And he lives again. He did pick up an affliction, but again, that'll get regrown. So no worries there. Let's get back to messages real quick, and as you can see, we basically just almost elfed Nazca with just hitting as many provinces as we can. And we're still just pinging his cap to see if he decides to patrol or if he is going to PD dump anything. Aside from that, messages will go through events, just some misfortune and some fortune. So a bunch of gems and some gold. And we found magic sites, death, and earth. And that's about it. So yeah, let's go into Nazcan's lands. Now that Phlegra is dead, this is our next target. And we basically cleared up most of the target. Every single one of these battles was a win. Most of them without any losses whatsoever. This one was tough. He did PD dump here, and mannequins are actually poor amphibians, so they do very, very poorly underwater, unless you just have a crap ton of them, which I do. So if you have actually good troops underwater, you can fight mannequins off pretty easily. The only thing that they have going for them is the sheer density of attacks and putting things to sleep. So yeah, they managed to kill a bunch of our stuff, but it's all chaff, so no worries. One of the carcasses. This is a mistake. You shouldn't generally send the Sagittarian carcasses underwater unless you have a melee themed bless around them, because their carrion bows cannot shoot underwater. So whatever you have them scripted to, they're going to ignore if you have them on fire, and they're just going to run in and smack things, and they are not very tanky. So unfortunately we got another one of them killed, and these guys are really best used when they are en masse. And then aside from that, yeah, so we basically picked up everything for free. Now he's got only this number of provinces for income, and we're going to be taking this and this off of him as well. So then he will be just down to his cap, and we continue to harass him on his cap to see if he patrols, and then consolidate everything here. As you can see, this map move is just preposterous for Asphodel. We can get all the way here from the cap with the vast majority of our stuff. Aside from that, only a couple of things like the Minotaurs are too slow to make it all the way there. Oh yeah, we're not recruiting anything there. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'll recruit things, but I didn't really want anything here. All of our gold is going into other things, and we'll get to that other thing in a second. But other than that, I'll just show the rest of the turn. We're just consolidating, moving things around. Looks like he hasn't got the gold to put his fort back down here yet. He may be going underground here with this guy. We'll see. Aside from that, yeah, just a bunch of consolidation, reinforcement, and moving on upward to assault Nazca next. Aside from that, I'm going into the caves here as well. And like I said before, this is a cave forest, so we're going to put another fort down here when we have the chance. And we do want at some point to go down here as well. This is a little bit really exposed for us, so unless we have plans to seriously reinforce it, it would probably just get taken and bypassed immediately and the throne taken. So not super great investment for us, but it is a good province and has a lot of income, so I do want that eventually once I'm able to focus my attention on being able to defend it. For now, I've just left a couple of guys there to hold on to it. And we're still waiting here to see if anybody pops in. There's a throne right down there, which looks to be unclaimed still, so that can be an interesting idea if we get a large aquatic force to go for it. I don't know what's there, but we could maybe take it. Aside from that, we also happen to see not only Oceania taking on Agartha, but Yis as well. And that is going to be a huge pain in the butt for Agartha. Luckily for them, even though they have the vast majority, I believe, of their infrastructure underground, they still have a sizable kingdom and main holdings above ground. So they're able to reinforce slowly, but they have quite a few forts there, and his cap. Maybe building another one over here somewhere. But that is going to keep Agartha thankfully distracted enough for us to focus on mopping up everybody else and maybe save them for last. Or maybe we can just win without having to deal with them at all. That would be nice as well, since I happen to like the player who is playing Agartha, but we'll worry about that much later. For the time being, focusing on Nazca. Now, as far as what we're spending our gold on, recruitment as usual, mages in every fort that we can, and it's good to have a panic apostate going every other turn so that we can save some money, although our income is phenomenal right now compared to our expenses. And we're building some fort defense chaff as well, just to intimidate and keep people off our backs over here underground. And aside from that, we decided to make a play because there's a particular mercenary, and this guy would get us a lot of nice cross paths for astral and earth, and for the very least site searching. But I think if we can get into, for example, crystal coin, we can pop one of those out, and that'll be something we can have for later. So we're eyeballing that as well if we can pick him up. But I think he would be a very valuable asset for basically all of our nations. So there might be some competition for that. I put down 272 for him, and he's going right here to start site searching immediately, because you don't want him in your cap, because then you can't site search. So that's a something. We'll see if we get that or not. And aside from that, we're recruiting even there in Phlegra while we build a temple. So that's where all our gold is going. This one is going to be a full cost temple. As you can see, it costs 600. So it is what it is. You still want it. Well, it depends. There's two lines of play. Obviously, the pop kill will start killing the massive population of Phlegra, but I do want lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of mannequins, because that is going to be my play. And I would much rather have the sacreds as well, the sacred mannequins, as many as I can get to replace the silly losses that I've had so far. All right, let's move on. We're going to go into turn 24. All right, so turn 24. So it would appear that Yis has figured out where the Throne of the Artificer is, and artifacts are going to start being cheaper, which is not going to be a thing that I'm going to have to worry about, or probably any of us are going to have to worry about until much, much later in the game, if we get there. In the meantime, the raiding of Nazca continues, and we're also popping into the caves some more as well. Really, 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 really crappy events this turn, unfortunately. Misfortunately, if you will. Aside from that, it looks like Nazca has popped out as well. Where is he going? He is coming over here. Oh, yikes. So this is where we've staged the majority of our force, but I wasn't expecting him to come out to play. So I don't really have pretty much anything scripted. But I did manage to bring along basically everybody that came over from Phlegra. So we have a massive force here ready for him. Well, air quotes ready. Like I said, I think based on the composition of his forces, I will probably just be getting an HP route at some point. Most of these guys will be very easy for basically any of my stuff to kill. It'll just depend on if I had a bunch of my mages set up to be able to defend, or not defend, but not be sniped by attack rear stuff. So I've got my Black Centaurs on attack immediately, and don't know if I have any Holy Threes here for Divine Blessing, so they're just going to go in. They're just going to go in and see who I can kill. It looks like his line formation... Oh, no, there it is. I was going to say his line formation is having him hold there. So where did they land? Yeah, it was an attack rear move, but... there's the Dracolich, though. So we have basically a bunch of mannequins. Now, these mannequins are not going to do anything to this guy. We have a little bit of a different kind of conundrum than we had with the Awake Pretender for Phlegra, because that was a living being, and the sleep vines are not going to affect inanimate. Let's see. Yeah, he's inanimate, so I guess it would have affected undead. That's interesting. Yeah, okay, so funny enough, this is something I didn't quite know, but funny enough, the The Supai are quite capable of falling asleep, but the Dracolich is not. So these guys are going to be a supreme liability for me. But on the plus side, they're also not going to be affected by his fear, and they're not going to be affected by his plague breath, so I'm not really going to care on that front. In fact, his plague breath is probably just going to hurt his own guys more at this point. Oof, that's a big oof. Yeah, it's going to hit my freebie guy here, the Bishop General. But I think we've basically got him on the ropes now. As far as the back line goes, we're into his mages already, and we've killed everything, just literally everything. And so now all that's left is these guys until they decide to run, which they do. And so his pretender flees the battle, and we do win. What are our losses, and what are his losses? By the way, we pinged Nazca again. We just keep pinging it until we decide what we want to do there. So he came at me first. We got all his Koyas, all his Ingas, and that's 4 and 4, which means that they're straight up going to be paired into mummy bundles. So there's going to be 4 full Royal Malkeys out of this, but this is a lot. This is all of his turns of cap recruitment right here, basically, because each of these, the Incas and the Koyas, each of them is 2 turns of recruitment. So it's turned like, what was it, 24 right now? That's 8, 16. That's 16 turns of recruitment. And yeah, that's basically all his mage turns of fort recruitment. His Dracolich got away. As you can see, only 9 kills, so wasn't particularly effective this fight. We got most of his Supayas and basically all of his Sacreds. So yeah, all in all, pretty decisive wipe. I could probably just go onto his fort right now, but we'll see what I decide. He got 4 of my leadership commanders. These are free, so that's fine, but also unfortunate. I might not be able to bring everybody with me. And let's see, what else as major losses? We picked up 1 free Carrion Ogre. I don't know who that was that I would have killed. Maybe one of my own guys, probably a Minotaur. And 4 Black Centaurs. Other than that, it was pretty much fine. The rest of these are just stuff I can recruit. Well, these guys, the Centaurs, I can recruit in the forests. So yeah, it was a really good turn for me. And other than that, minor losses there, and we knocked out his Hatun Runa farm, which I don't know what he was thinking. I guess he didn't really care, or maybe he thought the PD would hold off this, but apparently not. Apparently this many Black Centaurs with my Bless, meager though it is, was quite sufficient to wipe everything out by itself. So there you go. We did lose 2 of them, so that's unfortunate. So yeah, Copperwoods is held, and we're going right onto his fort. So we do manage to pick up everybody, so I guess I was overreacting, but I still don't have any Holy 3 guy to Divine Blessing. Do I have people coming in to deal with that problem? Let's see. I do not, so I'm just going to manually script Blessing and hold an attack instead. So, yep, I guess that's what we're going to do with it. It looks like a couple of people retreated from this battle, so we have to go pick them up. Apparently one of them was a Black Centaur, of all things. Probably didn't get berserked soon enough. And aside from that, we're putting a Carrion Fort down here in our forest, and we're building another temple. Dominion has already spread here, but I'm not worried about it. You'll note one of the things that I've decided to do this turn, so we'll get back to that in a second, and I'll explain why. Fort is under construction here. Oh, I didn't decide to do it this turn. I've been doing it. So as you can see, I'm popping rings of water breathing onto my harpies, and I'm sending them down into the caves, and then further down underwater. And we've already sent 1 guy here because this is a direct land province that we can go, and we're going to see if we can track the battles as they're happening in the Midlands, so to speak, between Yis and Oceania and Agartha. Bunch of Morvarks. This is probably overkill Morvarks, but he might be unsure where the army is. There's one right there, so they might get caught there. We're going to see if we can find and watch a fun battle there. But aside from that, yeah, we're scouting what we can. So there is land on the oceanic plain, so to speak, but it is sort of like the reverse. Most of it is water, and there are a few little ponds, land ponds, if you will. And so that's why I needed the rings of water breathing, and we've already got one scripted to go down here and watch this throne. This guy didn't pick up a ring of water breathing, so we're just seeing what the sort of geopolitical situation is on the third plane. And then we're going to follow through with that. So there's a bunch of water breathing rings that I'm going to be making to expand my scouting capabilities, because right now I see basically everything else. So not too worried about that. Aside from that, yep, I think that's pretty much it. I feel like I was doing something with my gold, but maybe I canceled it by accident. Oh well, I won't worry about it too much. In any event, yeah, we're just consolidating whatever can't reach here in one turn. And yeah, and then we're going here. Where is my profit? I have my profit somewhere, I know. I don't recall. I can find him this way. Here he is. Oh, he's claiming the throne. Okay, so I'm going to claim this throne, which is the throne of law, and that'll get me even more order and even more free PD. So that will help, hopefully, with the misfortune events as well. And other than that, we're just consolidating, we're recruiting mages, and we're going to drop down on Nazca's capital. So let's go on to turn 25. Right, turn 25. 2 thrones claimed, one of me, and the Throne of Dreams was claimed by Pelagia, so that's an underwater throne. That would be one of the new thrones that gives glamour gems. I would really have liked to take that, but unfortunately it will be out of my reach for a while. And then we found another death site, so that's good for our twice spawning shenanigans. And aside from that, we went on to Nazca, and whatever he had decided not to patrol with, so it's just his PD. And we take it, and we only lose a couple of mannequins. Bad events, disease, low income, yeah, dominion loss everywhere. Terrible, terrible events. We've breached Nazca already, so next turn, storming, and we'll do that next turn as well so that you can see the storming. And then other than that, terrain changes. Once you're in growth, the first thing that will typically happen is terrain will change to farmlands. And so that's great for us because it'll be a little bit more income, I think, and then more forest. So we're really branching out here, spreading our forest in this direction. This will change to forest probably pretty soon thereafter. We've already got growth 5 in a lot of places, so that's pretty cool. So we're immediately sending people to build lab, temple, and fort right there because we want to make as many mages as possible to ramp our research up as quickly as possible. We're even going to be sending a guy over here to snag this forest as well. Funnily enough, I haven't mentioned this, I don't think, but Nazca itself is already a forest, so don't have to be growing a fort there. But yeah, aside from that, we're just gonna storm. We're gonna immediately storm with basically everything, even a harpy apparently. I don't know what my idea was with that, but I might have just sort of blanked and been like, screw it, in you go. And aside from that, I am going to be doing the thing that I always have to do a little bit differently, which is you always have to leave at least somebody on top of the fort. But what you can do is instead be sending people from other provinces onto the fort. So these guys who are scripted to move orders are moving there and will be basically the backup. If I don't take the fort this turn with whatever I have now, which is a crap ton of stuff, then at least there will be backup still keeping the fort under siege, unless he decides to break siege and thinks he can win, which didn't go so well for him last time, so maybe not. Maybe the benefit of the fort walls will help him out. Plus, he does have 4 Royal Malkeys, full path Royal Malkeys right now in there, as well as his Dracolich, so he could potentially do a substantial amount of damage to me. But as you can see, I've decided to put my Black Minotaurs in the back, as well as my Carrion Fury and Carrion Titan squad, the big heavy hitters, also in the back. On hold and attack closest, that will allow them to hit any flyers that decide to drop way back here. So we'll see about that. I don't think I actually sent any nature mages. Ironically, I was all talking about how I was going to use Thaumaturgy 4 to get, the Touch of Madness spell, and just, hold that and allow it to turn my Minotaurs berserk immediately and not have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. But I guess I just kind of ignored that after all. I didn't have really any mages in the area, so, well, I have him, but, just Nature 1 mages. Aside from that, I'm not really bringing any big mages to the fight. I pretty much just use these guys as leadership, and I didn't seem to need any spells to win that last fight, so we're just going in there. In theory, these guys could cast Dust to Dust on the undead that he throws at us, the flying undead. But I don't know if the AI is going to script that, the spellcasting AI is going to script that if they could hit my own undead mannequins by accident, so we'll see. Aside from that, I didn't mention last turn. I didn't get Ferris the Iron Wizard. That was silly of me. Another silly thing that I'm doing, as we will see next turn, is I'm seeing these helmet sappers, and I love helmet sappers. I almost never seem to use them for actual siege purposes, like breaking down walls, which the sappers actually do. I almost always tend to be using them for their Mason ability from Helmut himself that allows me to upgrade forts. And I thought to myself, I was like, hey, I have Phlegra. It's a castle. It's a giant castle. I could turn this into a citadel. That would be hilarious and awesome. Normally, you might be able to do something like this. Unfortunately for Asphodel, Asphodel happens to have very primitive forts. So what the game happens to do is it will take your national fort value into account for what the Mason is allowed to upgrade to the next level, which means that what I can actually do with Helmut is upgrade palisades to regular forts if I ever decided to dump enough gold into building a palisade, and I can't upgrade past that. Even if I have a Mason, it only upgrades one step forward. It doesn't upgrade whatever you have all the way up to Citadel. So I learned that this game, and that was dumb because I wound up spending 700 gold on Helmet Sappers, and he winds up sitting in Phlegra until I decide that was a waste of money, and he goes away and finds somebody else to work for. So, oh well. And yeah, like I said, I didn't pick up Ferris. Apparently Oceania did, and Oceania is having a field day with the mercs, and not only the underwater mercs, but the land mercs as well, apparently. I wonder if we can see where he is. Yeah, he's right here. So, because that's mechanical men, and I'm fairly certain that we don't have enough tech. Anybody has enough tech for mechanical men quite yet, so that would be where Ferris is. Aside from that, let's take a look at this battle as well, because Agartha actually wins, and he dumps a lot of stuff, and his bless is quite good, as you can see. Attack skill 2, it's not really that much when you're dealing with the defensive Morvarks, but if you can get them harassed down, then, or if you can maybe kill their mounts, you might be able to do something. So yeah, they trample over the Bakemono show, but some of them get separated from the pack, and these guys are going to be in deep trouble. And he's scripting what? Holy Avenger, Strength of Giants, Sermon of Courage. Okay, but yeah, this is a pretty intense battle. There's a lot of damage going out on both sides, but I think Agartha has the upper hand here. He manages to drive these guys off. Oh, Word of Stone as well. That's helpful to reduce people's defense if they fail their morale checks. But yeah, it looks like there was just enough, barely just enough, to get them driven off. So Yis actually lost 12 of his Morvarks, and all of these Knights of Yis as well. I think the princess probably retreated successfully. 12 for 14 shard guards, I'd say that's a pretty good trade for Agartha. So that's great, and Oceania probably sees this and is like, well, oh crap, I'm not sure I'm able to take this unless he has a bunch of sacreds hiding in the wings over here, which I can't see quite yet. Quite yet being the operative term, because as you can see, I now have my sneaky water-breathing harpies flying around, so we're going to be watching very carefully. Apparently we also get to see Atlantis moving in over here and taking more underwater provinces as well. There's also a large contingent of Pelagia around the area, but they're all aquatic troops, so in theory I'm not overly concerned, but you never know with these fishy men. Alright, I think that's probably it. As far as the underwater planes go, I haven't uncovered anything quite yet, but I'll be uncovering a little bit more this turn because I'm sending some people, and that'll reveal a little bit of the area, so we'll show that as well. But yeah, so we're storming, and we're going to get right into that next turn. And we're also going to be taking some of these water provinces, which, I mean, if In's not going to take them, then I'll certainly take them, because I got the free troops lying around to do it, and hey, it's free money. So let's do it. Alright, onwards to turn 26. So here we are, turn 26, and let's just get right into it. Battle in Nazca. This will be our last turn for this video. Thank you for your patience, but this is going to be a fun one, I assure you. That's a lot of mages. It's a lot. So yeah. Let's see if he has the drop on us again. Yep, there he is. And looks like he's going to be taking a beating from my very heavy hitters. And he did. Sorry, Dracolich. It was not enough. Aside from that, these archers are substantially less intimidating than stone hurlers, and we've already cleared the meager gate defenders, and I think we have these guys definitely unscripted to hold an attack rear. There's a lot of fire going out from people, shockwaves, and so yeah, they're nuking our centaurs as soon as they get here, but A couple of them have already fallen. This guy has been dropped on the ground. Oops. Looks like he got hit by one of his own shockwaves. Yeah, that's one of the funny interactions now. And you know what's even funnier, actually, is the fact that even though he's stunned, because they're innate spellcasters, they just keep going. They're just like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. I can still nuke you with spells at face value. But yeah, it's too much. Eventually we just get him. And the wall defenders are already dead, so another capital for us. That's up to 3 caps now, and we lose 12 more black centaurs, 4 black minotaurs. I think most of those would probably have been from duking it out with the Dracolich itself. Still no Carrion Titans lost, but we're not going to be picking up any more with this particular battle. And yeah, everything died. 8 Royal Malkies killed. It's a lot of income for him to be saving, but I don't think he's worried about that too much right now. He only has 3 provinces left, and don't think that there's anything he can recruit or build. So yeah, Nazca's pretty much dead at this point, and his candles are saving me from the pop kill that would eventually be killing his lands. Speaking of killing his lands, we're still going to be killing Phlegra's population right now, but slowly. We've only got 2 candles in there right now. This is what I meant. So I've got Helmet here. He can do whatever he wants, but he cannot build a fort. He cannot upgrade this fort to anything higher. So that is very sad. Very, very sad. Just have him back to wait. And yeah, let's see. What else are we doing? We are going to clear this barbarian group out, and that was a little silly move of mine. I sent a bunch of random mannequin chaff in here, but don't mess with barbarians. They're still barbarians. They will plow through these guys. Yeah, actually we barely won, but it was not enough. They HP routed us first. So we lost a bunch of stuff needlessly. Thankfully, none of our Sagittarians died. So we're going to heavily overkill it now because I don't really have anything else to be doing with my massive army now. I'm keeping my nap with Ind for right now until I decide what to do. Consolidate a little bit more, tech up a little bit more. We've got Construction 5, so that's going to be greater magic items. Some of the things we're going to be doing is picking up stuff like Skull Staff, Dream Stones for everyone, Frost Brands just for the start of some thugging. And we're going to be doing Twiceborns now, with more of our guys, and then since we have water breathing rings, we can send them underwater and suicide them. Speaking of suicide, I've decided that I'm going to get rid of my initial prophet because I don't need him anymore, and I can turn a Carrion Lord into a Holy 4 and be able to cast my national spell for battlefield-wide regen. So we'll be building toward that direction. And aside from that, yeah, well, I mean, we've got almost 5,000 income right now by turn 26, only 1,000 in expenses, and that's basically probably all going to be mages at this point. Yeah, Panic Apostates, Dryad Hags are our main sources of negative income. The rest is just like, why even spend money on troops? We have so much crap going around. As far as score graphs, we can look at army size. I haven't gone down until like just now. Every single one of my fights that I've fought against anybody has not put a dent in my troop recruitment numbers, except for this, which is 130 troops apparently. Aside from that, oh, and I guess losing these guys as well, another 100. So we did almost lose 200 troops this turn. Well, yeah, over 200. So we've gone into this province, which is taking there. Yep, and then aside from that, we're going to be building forts down here. Looks like Yis is not giving up although Oceania did pull back. That's where Ferris is, I suppose. Yeah, he's still alive here somewhere, so he might give him a ring of water breathing at some point to get him out of a war zone. Don't know how that's going to work out for him. But he wasn't patrolling here, so I get to see a relatively large force. I don't know if they're going to keep fighting. They would probably be able to kill Agartha between the two of them at this point. Yis has gone over here, another 25 guys, and is just bopping all of his forts. Agartha is quite big. So yeah, that's the situation on that plane, and on the water plane we see a little bit more. I don't think we see anybody else's cap yet. Here's the other little island spit right here, which we could reach through this cave and then through this cave. So down from this throne into here, and then we would be able to hit this. This should be doable, although Mine Lords, yeah, gotta be careful about them. I've got a lot of mindless stuff, so if I can put heavy MR gear on my commanders, it should probably be fine. And then I could take this island as well pretty easily, depending on what I want to do. We're going down here, and we're going to just take a look around. I don't see any of the Water Nation's caps yet, though, so yeah. But yeah, this is the beginning the scouting of the third plane, and then we'll have that fully uncovered and see where everything is and what the situation's like there. So yeah, that's the turn. We have 3 caps, we have a lot of gold, we have pretty good tech, and we're building dreamstones. All is well in the world. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.